Welcome to the channel, ladies and gents. Yes, we are here with a brand new video. So this is gonna be a draft recap of our most recent league. So this league is the Pokemon Draft Dynasty. I'm super excited about this league because this is a league that me, KJ, and my friend Padel, we've all been working for. We're close friends and we wanted to work on a league. So us three kind of teamed up. We made up a league and we got some really cool coaches. So I'm super excited about it. So, before we get into talking about the league rules and the draft and everything like that, I do want to just post my new logo. So, after about 6-7 years of playing Pokemon, I always had the same logo. I revamped it once, but I've always been known as the Munchlax United. But we are now going to be the New Jersey Goldangos. So I kind of just wanted to change it up. I wanted to represent where I'm from. I was born in Ecuador, but I lived in New Jersey like most of my life. And my fiance, she makes logos, she does commissions for logos, emotes and things like that, and she was making new logos for a bunch of people, and it looked really great, and I just really felt like I wanted a new one. I wanted a mon from Gen 9, and we went with Goldango because I really love the design of this Pokemon. So shout out to my fiance. Make sure you check out her Etsy shop. You can message her on there if you want commissions, or you can just let me know and I can get you in contact with her. So big shout out. I'm super excited. I love this logo, so make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe for that brand new beautiful logo. But now let's get into the draft. So the PDD, again, a league that we started, and we pretty much took rules from like PPL because we really feel like the PPL rules were very balanced. They also revamped their rules, which we revamped ourselves when we were kind of looking into it. So the way the draft is going to work is you have to pick 10 to 11 mons, and you have 110 points to use through the tier list. So we also did change up the tier list a bit. We had some some help from Jack, who obviously owns PPL, and he kind of just gave us some changes that he thinks should be made after already being through a few weeks of PPL. So let's get into it. Well, also actually, you get 3 Terra Captains. You have to pick 2 to 3, and they have to be just like PPL tier 9 and below, with a few exceptions in between there. We also kind of revamped the tier 9 listing and all that stuff too. So let's get into it. The first mon that we did get was the 3rd choice in the whole draft, which is a really great position. Maybe I could have picked something stronger. There were stronger things still on the board. Obviously I was 3rd choice pick. Polt went Dragapult went 2nd, and Iron Valiant went 1st, but I wanted to try this mon. It was a good tier value, and it's really good. So we actually went with Sneasler. So Sneasler, poison fighting type, we gets a lot of cool mechanics, cool moves, so we can take advantage of things like normal gem fake out to make it unburden, get the double speed boost, it gets sword stance, it gets its move that is just for Sneasler, and that's Dire Claw, which has 50% chance to poison, sleep, and paralyze, which could be really clutch in certain situations. With this mon, you kind of just don't have to do a whole lot. If you're in a sticky situation, you just click Dire Claw, get a sleep, a para, or a poison, and it can help you in the long run. And then obviously stab things like close combat, which are really useful. Such a strong stab to have, and not many things want to switch into this. Normally a steel type will want to switch into its poison moves, but you got close combat or any fighting move. And a fairy might want to switch into fighting moves, but then you have Dire Claw and things like that that are going to be very powerful. So that's Sneasler. And yeah, that's our first overall pick. So for this draft, I kind of wanted to go powerful. I didn't want to draft too balanced. I didn't want to go too defensive. I wanted to go more raw power. So the next pick that we do choose is Baxcalibur. So Baxcalibur has become one of my favorite mons, if not my favorite, to be honest. I've always loved dragon types. You can ask my boy Alex Once Bennett how much I loved Garchomp. I love to draft Haxorus and things like that because of their power and their setup potentials, especially Haxorus with setup, and Garchomp used to get Scale Shot, which was always really broken. But Baxcalibur is really awesome. I had it in PBA. I didn't draft in the PBA, and I just fell in love with this mon, so I had to draft it this time. It's just very powerful, right? So you have Glaive Rush, you have Ice Shard, Sword Stance, Dragon Dance, moves like that are very powerful. It gets stab ice moves, which this generation is really good. It's always been good in other generations too, but I just feel like this gen, not very mons, not very many mons really want to switch into this. So I'm pretty hyped when it comes to Excalibur. I'm really excited. It has such a powerful attack. I forget exactly off the top of my head, but I believe like 140, somewhere around there. Its speed is a little bit lacking in 87, but its HP and its defenses are really great. A good typing, obviously dragon, and we're starting with our Dragon Fairy Steel core, which I think is going to be very important. And talking about Dragon Fairy Steel, our next pick that we did take is Corviknight. So this is going to be one of the more, passive mons. Not that it has to always be passive, but straight off the bat, it's going to be a little bit less on the attacking side, obviously. So the reason I picked this thing up is because, first of all, Steel type to pair up with Excalibur, and it's a great pair also with Sneasler. It takes the ground moves for Sneasler, psychic moves, things like that. It can come into rock moves and all that. And then for Excalibur, obviously it takes the fairy moves. It can take certain fighting moves depending on the EV spread you have on it. And this thing is just super bulky. And the moves that it gets, U-turn, very key for momentum. As you can see, my team is already looking good with momentum because Sneasler also gets U-turn. But the key thing is that defog, to be able to get rid of hazards in this meta game that is very dependent on hazard stacking and not very many good mons that can get rid of them. So Corviknight, also you can do bulk up, you can do iron defense and power trip combination, which can be very powerful. So I'm very excited. Obviously the PPs for Roost, they got lowered, but that's fine with me. I kind of don't want to sit and just Roost stall anybody out. I kind of just want this thing to take a hit, U-turn out, maybe Rocky Helmet, and kind of go from there and get momentum into our huge big threats. So yeah, that is Corviknight. Next up, we are going with the pattern that we've been going with raw power, and that is Zarude. So Zarude, really cool mon. I want to try this mon for so long. It gets some very powerful moves. You can have close combat to hit any like steel types that want to come in. Power whip is going to be something very strong that fairies may not want to take if they want to switch into this thing. Another momentum grabber with U-turn. We get taunt so we can stop rocks or stop setup or thunder wave, any status moves, things like that. Zarude is pretty cool. It's again very bulky but very strong. 120 base attack, which is really wild. And then I also love the speed on this. Sneasler is base 120, and this kind of helps us raise that speed over the base 100s at base 105. So I think that's a really good combination there. We're starting to set up our speed tiers a little bit, and at the end you'll see our speed tiers are pretty good. I really do like the speed tiers that we got. This thing also got Sword Stance. I don't think it had it in previous gens. I think it was more just bulk up. Sword Stance just makes it that much better because it becomes an immediate threat that people don't want to switch into power whips, crunches, close combats. It's very powerful, and I think this mon is going to be fun. I'm very excited to use it. I've seen some other people use it very well, so I'm pretty hyped. And then next up, we do have, let's see, I gotta look for it, Gardevoir. So now I wanted to pick up my fairy to complete that Dragon Fairy Steel core. You don't want to leave your fairy off till too late because fairies are extremely good in this generation, as it has been in many generations, but this gen they just shine even more, right? So with Gardevoir, we got to pick up our fairy. It also gives us a good psychic type. Psychic stab can be very good if people don't prep for it well. And one of the main reasons I did want to pick up Gardevoir is because of how strong it is on the special side. So I believe base 125 special attack, which is really powerful, with the Moonblast, with Calm Mind, Scarf, or Specs. This thing can be very useful. Like I said, we could set up Calm Minds, then we can use Stored Power and do massive damage with its stab stored powers. We get some cool things like Thunder Wave and Will-O-Wisp, which if there are dark types that want to switch into it, they have to remember that that could possibly happen. Let's say a Gambit switches in, it gets Will-O-Wisp, it just becomes that much easier to take on. So I think that's really useful. Gardevoir, very cool mon. A little bit on the slower side with 80 base speed, but I think we'll be fine. We don't have to worry about that way too much. This thing is great. Its defenses aren't that great though, very low HP, very low physical defense, very high speed def, which is great. So we have to be careful when it comes on the physical side. Things might be able to take it out a little bit easier. But next up, I wanted to complete that higher tier speed that we needed, and that is why I went with Thunderous. So yes, we have another flying type, but this flying type obviously is completely different from Corviknight. I chose Thunderous. Shout out to Padel, she gave me a very, very cool idea with this thing as we know has Prankster, so we can set up terrain and maybe do some shenanigans with Sneasler. That could come one week and that'll be pretty cool, so I'm pretty excited about that. But obviously this thing has so many things, so many like valuable points to the team. So first of all, we hit the 111 speed tier, which is perfect. It's in the middle between Sneasler and Zarude, and it also surpasses the base 110 mons that we do see running around a lot, so that's really awesome. And like I said before, we get Prankster, so we could do Prankster T-Wave, we could do Prankster Bulk Up, Prankster Nasty Plot, and it gets 2 waves of momentum. If you see a ground type in there, then we can use U-Turn, and if you don't see any ground types, then we can run Volt Switch. So Thunder is really cool. Very powerful. Again, we're going very as powerful as we possibly can, and then picking up a little bit of bulk in between. So yeah, Thunderous is awesome. It's base 115 attack, base I think also 125 special attack, which is pretty awesome. And yeah, Thunderous can be mixed. It can run so many different things. So I'm very, very excited about Thunderous, and hopefully I get to use it well. So next up, we did go a little bit more bulky. In my eyes, we needed some hazards, obviously. Like I said, this generation is very good with hazard stacking because there is not good removal around. So we pick up a water type and ground type Gastrodon. So Gastrodon, I decided to pick, again, hazard stealth rocks. We get spikes, and then it's just the utility that it can give us throughout the team. It's very bulky, it has very nice HP. It's obviously slow, but I'm not looking for speed when it comes to my Gastrodon. But we can also run sets like Yawn to stop things from setting up. We can run curse sets, which are very, very good also. I've ran this in the past before, and I've actually helped me win games. So Gastrodon's very, very cool. Not much to really talk about Gastrodon. It's just here to be our water type. Our ground type is immune to water moves on its own. So yeah, Gastrodon's pretty cool. So next up, we start digging into our lower tier Terra Captains, and this one is one I wanted to try so badly, and I can't believe I actually got it, because by the time it was my turn, I thought it was going to be gone. But we do pick up Terra Captain the Dunsparce. So this thing is really, really awesome. When I came back into playing Mons again, when I saw that this evolution came up, I was like, oh, that's weird. And then I saw its stats and saw how bulky it is and how powerful it can be if you let it set up. It's going to be our Terra Captain. It's going to be one of our 3 Terra Captains. So what we ran for the Dunsparce is Terra Normal, Terra Water, Terra Fairy. Water and Fairy are such good defensive typings. Fairy also, like I said before, such a good offensive typing also. I decided to pick Water just because I felt like I was a little bit weak to fire and ice. A lot of like our dragon doesn't take fire, and our water type doesn't take ice too well, so I kind of wanted to filter that in with our Terra typings. But yeah, the Dunsparce, we get rocks with the Dunsparce. It gets a lot of moves. It can be special, it can be physical. We can run coil sets, we can run glare and pretty much paralyze everything besides ghost types and electric types. Dragon Tail to stop setup users from just setting up in front of our face. And of course, Calm Mind mixed with just Terra Normal Boom Burst is just crazy. The abilities are amazing. Serene Grace, Rattled, Serene Grace, I love that ability. That's why Togekiss is one of my favorite Pokemons. But having that chance to double the secondary effects is always just very, very useful. So that's the Dunsparce. Super excited about it. I think it's gonna be one of the MVPs for our team, and hopefully I can use it well. Yeah, I think I will. It's already been fun building with it. So next up is gonna be one of our other Terra Captains, and that's gonna be Haunter. So reason I chose Haunter It's because it fit perfectly with our speed tiers. So we were hitting like 120, 111, 105. We didn't have anything in 90s though. We had 80s, 70s, 60s, and so on, but we didn't have anything in 90. And for 3 points, and this being our Terra Captain, I think it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be fun to use. Base 95 speed, base 115 special attack. Obviously, this thing is not going to be here to be bulky. I could run EVLI if I want, but I don't really think I am. It could be a focus sash lead with toxic spikes, which is pretty useful. It can be scarfed, it can be specs. It's very powerful. This thing you cannot just like, oh, it's a Haunter and I'm not gonna plan for it. It gets Destiny Bond. Like I said, we could be focus sash lead with Destiny Bond, toxic spikes. We can get rid of a bulky threat, offensive threat, depending on the situation. Our Terras for Haunter is going to be Terra Ghost, Terra Fairy, Terra Fighting. So again, another Terra Fairy. Offensively, Terra Fairy is just too good to pass on. I didn't see anything else that fit too well. So we went with that. We went with Fighting because we'll be able to take on the normal types that will normally come in onto this really easily. Also be able to break steel types a lot easier. So I'm super excited about Haunter. Such a cool design. Gengar is my favorite Pokemon, so it's nice to have its lower evolution. So yeah, that's Haunter for you. And let's move on to the very last pick of the draft, and that is gonna be Crocalor. Really cool mon. With Eviolite, it's extremely bulky. I think its HP is like around 81, which is still really good. Its special attack is about 90. With Eviolite, this thing can sit here for days. It has Unaware, which is very useful. Things can't just set up, and this is going to be our other Terra Captain. So this one, we're going to have Terra Fire, Terra Water, and of course, you guys guessed it, Terra Fairy. Defensively, Terra Fairy is just too good, and I want to have it on the team as much as I can. So yeah, not much to really talk about this mon. It gets very strong, powerful overheats. Terra Fire overheats even with just a 90 special attack is gonna blow things away. Will-O-Wisp to burn things and make it easier for our other walls to be able to take physical hits, or even our offensive mons to take physical hits and do massive damage. Of course, it gets Slack off so it can recover, and it even has moves like Encore, which I think are very good. It could stop things from setting up. It can set up our other mons to come in on something that was encored, and now we can either set up or do, again, massive damage. So that's pretty much the team, guys. I'm super excited about it. I want to try to keep this as short as possible. I hope you guys do like the team. I'm super excited. New logo, again, made by my fiance. Make sure you check out her shop and everything. But I'm super excited. We have a lot of cool coaches here. We do take on the homie Jack, aka Gravy. We take him up from week 1, so it's probably the toughest challenge we could have straight off the bat. But I'm super excited. I hope you guys are hyped. Make sure you leave us a like, you subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what your favorite mon is or anything you would change in the team. But yeah, that's the team, guys. I will see you guys at week 1. Super hyped. I'll see you guys then. Peace.